Good morning, welcome to my YouTube channel, and I've got an interesting video. So you know how I've been talking about I've got the new lithium battery installed, the ItechWorld 120X, which is a 120 amp hour lithium battery, which is absolutely awesome so far. I've had it installed in my vehicle now for 7 days, so 1 week. Today's 1 week, and it's been awesome. But what I want to show you today, it's a bit of a video on one of the main benefits that you get with the lithium battery, and that something that people have been telling me for ages is that, you know, with an AGM, how it's got the 3 main stages of charging. You got your bulk charging, you got your absorbent, and you got your float. Well, you know, usually when it gets to about the last 10% of an AGM battery, it goes into an absorbent charge, and that last 10% takes quite a long time. Because what it does is it increases the voltages and drops the amps down, so it just slowly trickle charges that battery. Now with the lithium, you don't have that issue. Now, why do I call it an issue? Because with an AGM, it makes it take quite a long time. That last 10% to get that charge into an AGM takes considerably longer than it does compared to a lithium. Because with a lithium battery, it can accept all the amps that you can give to it, so there's no wastage, right until it's 100% charged. So there's no absorbent charging. It's basically bulk charges right through. So you know that I've got the Cerbo GX, and before that I had the GlobalLink 520. Now in conjunction with both, I'm able to go back into my data, onto my records, and find under similar conditions with the same solar panel, the difference it takes to charging an AGM from 90% to 100% compared to a lithium from 90% to 100%. Now this is in regards to my AGM battery and my lithium battery. So the AGM battery I'm using is the Kickass 120 amp, and it's close to 5 years old, although it still seems to work perfectly fine. And my lithium battery is the ItechWorld 120X lithium, which again, it's also a 120 amp hour battery. They're similar. So I know 10% on each battery is exactly the same. So yesterday, I've been working on this graph for hours. Guys, I was going to try to get this video out yesterday, but it just took me hours to make this graph up that I've got in front of you here now that I'm about to show you. So I'm going to take you to my computer, and I'm going to show you the difference that a lithium is to charge that last 10% compared to an AGM. So let's cue to the screen. Now what you see here on the left is my lithium battery. On the right is the AGM. On the left is the data that I recorded through the Cerbo GX. On the right is the data that I recorded through the GlobalLink 520. Now that's interesting. Have a look at the difference here. Okay, look at the times on the left. All right. For example, you can see here on the left on the lithium, every 1 minute, okay, look down, without fail, virtually every minute it's recording data. If you look on the right here, the data was connected with the GlobalLink 520. Now at the best of times, this should upload data every 15 minutes. So it should have data every 15 minutes here. But remember, I've been talking about the issues I was having with that GlobalLink in regards to picking up the service. Even with a 7 dB aerial, external and aerial, I've still been missing data. So you can see here, okay, we've got 223, we got 802, and then it didn't record any data again until 853, and then 908, 923, 938, 953, and then we jump to 1024, and then we go to 1040, and then we're at 1113, and then we're at 1128, 11:43, 12:17, again it's almost half an hour, so you can see how it's all over the place. That made it really tricky for me to find the data on the AGM to show the charge rate. And over here you can see I've got a section here where it's incorrect data. Now remember, if you watched a video on the Victron BMV 712 Smart Battery Manager, let's try that again. If you watched a video on the Victron BMV 712 Smart Battery Monitor, hey! Well, that's almost like a tongue twister. Guys, I normally edit these bloopers out. I'm going to keep it in. See, I've got the section here, it's incorrect data. Remember I mentioned that with the AGM, when I was using the solar panel, that if you get a little bit of shade on the solar panel, the BMV 712 battery monitor gets confused and then thinks that the battery is fully charged. So it virtually jumped from about 91% right up to 100%, bang, just like that, as soon as a little bit of sunshade. Now I remember this day clearly, and this was the first day that I ran into that issue, and I had no idea what was going on. And then I did my research into it, and then I found out it was all to do with the perimeters. So if you're using an AGM with the 712, the issue is that you could set it all up, the perimeters, correctly for your AC charger and your DC-DC charger. But then if you go use those same perimeters on a solar panel, I find that when the solar panel gets the shade, it just doesn't work. So you're best off to set the perimeters for your solar panel, and then hopefully it should work fine with your AC and your DC. I don't know if it does. I never tried it because I knew I was getting a lithium battery, so I didn't bother about it. I didn't want to waste my time on that. Now in regards to the lithium, no problems at all. As you know, I've had it for a week now, so I've been testing it for a week, and I've been monitoring my Victron Management Portal very closely over that week. And in fact, I've got it here right now because I want to show you something. It's 9:20 in the morning. I'm using the 200 watt household panel, but if we go into the advanced screen, at 9:21 a.m. in the morning, in the middle of winter, it's putting out 11.1 amps. How cool is that? 11.1 amps. 5 years now I've owned that solar panel. So I used to have that on top of my vehicles. Now I know with the AGM, this state of charge now is all correct until it got to about this stage here, and then I had a little bit of shade come over the panel. Honestly guys, it could have been me just walking in front of the solar panel, and then we got this incorrect data as 100%. So you're thinking, how do I know when the battery is 100%? Well, the beauty with this portal here, and owning a Victron MPPT Smart Solar Regulator, the GlobalLink 520 that I'm using here on this graph at the time you see on the right here, it gathers the information from the charger. So I can see here, if you have a look at the system overview, I can see it's been charging right up until, have a look here. So we got absorption, float. Okay, so around 11:45 a.m. it reached a float. And I can also confirm that by looking at the voltage of the battery at the time. So we know the float state of charge is around your 13.6. In this case it's 13.7. So you can see 14.4, 14.4. You can see when there's bulk charging, it was down low at 12.6. So corresponding with that graph, it tells me at what time of the day it went to float charge. And that's all I need to know in this graph. When did the battery reach 100%? Remember when I mentioned with an AGM, when it hits the absorbent charge rate, that it increases the voltage, as you can see here, 14.4, but then it drops the amps down that goes into the battery. And you can see that happening right here. You see that all happening right here. See how the amps have dropped down? Well, if you go over here and have a look on the left and look at the amps, which right here, you can see it's consistently 12, 11 and a half, 12 and a half right through. Okay, and this is at the between the 90% to 100% charge. So you can see that. So there's a difference there. You can see the difference there. So the lithium is absorbing as much amps as you can put into it. Now if I had a 50 amp charger on this, that'll be putting through 50 amps through that battery until she's 100% charged. 930, it was at 90% charge. I'm going to write that down. 930. So if we look over here, that it worked out to 2 hours and 20 minutes to charge from 90% to 100%. Now let's go have a look at the lithium. You can see the benefit that's the Cerbo GX here. I've installed this over a week ago and it's never missed a beat. And you know, when I've been using the GlobalLink, I had to park the car outside because when I parked in the garage, it wouldn't pick up a service. Now, when I parked it outside, it picked up a service, but it was a weak service. So I went uptown and purchased a 7 dB external antenna from JCar. Okay, a 7 dB, not a 2, not a 3 or 4 or whatever, 5, a 7. And I connected that to the car. It helped it, but it was still missing a lot of data, as you can see here on the right hand side, how all the data it was missing. Now in regards to the Cerbo GX, I'm just using that Victron 4G LTE dongle that I purchased. It's sitting inside my vehicle on the back seat with the included little stubby antenna. I'm not even using an external antenna. It's sitting in the garage and I'm picking up data from it. I'm picking it up. And it's got 4 out of 5 bars on it. 4 out of 5 bars. I want to show you a little bit how I got this data. You'll see in the graph here that I haven't showed you before. So when you've got a Cerbo GX installed or the GlobalLink 520, you've got an option. If you go into your advanced, you've got an option here. If you click this little download icon here, well first you check, you select the date time, the date trace, so you've got last 24 hours. If you click on that, you can download a graph, either an Access or an Excel graph, and that's what I've got here. Okay, that's what I've got here. Now guys, I went through this graph and I spent hours on this and I deleted all the columns that I don't need. So there is a heap of information. There is stacks. What you're seeing here, because you see how I've got one column highlighted here, that's the battery temperature. I've got another one here. This is the consumed amp hours. Okay, so it's accumulating. I'll explain that soon. And this is your battery state of charge and so on. Well, there was many other columns, literally probably 20, at least minimum 20 extra columns on there, on different sections of my 12 volt system and charge rates and etc. This wouldn't get confused. I deleted all them. So I just wanted to make it minimize. Okay, so that's what this is. All right, so let's get back to the column on the left here. You can see here, which is the lithium battery, the ItechWorld 120X, which is 120 amps, as I mentioned before, similar to the AGM 120 amps. So we know 10%, the last 10% is the same. So we can have a look at the times here. So I've got 90% here. So now at 8:36, okay, so 8:36 a.m., the battery was at 90%. So let's write that down, shall we? 8:36 a.m., 90%. Now let's go till we reach 100%. All right. Now we can tell it's 100% if you look at this data, so we're on bulk charge here, so it's on bulk all the time, and then boom, it went to absorption. So it's, now it says 99.6 here, alright. Guys, the BMV 712, as accurate as I've got it now, alright, you're not going to have a perfect. So it's only about, what, 0.4 an amp out. So I know that it's fully charged because I'm looking at the solid charge current. So it's gone absorbent. So you can see here, we've got the solid charge current, 12.2, immediately then drops to 0.3. We've got a 12.3, 0.3, 12.1, etc. These 12.1 where you see climbing here, this is when my fridge freezer would have been cycling running. So both of these tests are done under the same conditions, same environment, with the fridge running as well. So on the AGM I had the fridge running there as well. So it was just cycling on and off. So don't get confused on that. That's just when the fridge kicked in and it gave it a quick bulk charge. If you look at in here, the system overview, battery state, charging, right up until it's got to this, and then it's at idle. And then it's at idle. So it's not charging, it's not doing much anything. You can see here it's putting 0.3, 0.3, 0.3. And what that 0.3 is, if I had nothing connected to my 12 volt battery system in the car, I turned the fridge off. That's the only thing that's running during this test was the fridge. It'd still be consuming 0.3 because I've got the Cerbo GX, I've got a GPS dongle, and I've got the 4G LTE dongle as well. So those three combined are using 0.3 of an amp. Parked in the garage and you're going away on a holiday, make sure you got a solar panel outside or have an AC charger connected to your battery just to keep it topped up. So don't just leave it, because if you work out 0.3 of an amp, you don't think it's much, but in no time at all, you could go away on a holiday 2-3 weeks time, come back and you've got a flat battery. Now you're not going to kill it like you would an AGM. If that happened at an AGM, history, dead. At least with the lithium, you'll be able to boot it up back to life and continue on using it the way it is. So it's not really critical, but still something you've got to be aware of. So at 9:45, fully charged. So what's that? That's just over an hour. So about an hour and 10 minutes. That lithium was fully charged from 90% to 100%. So that's the beauty with this Cerbo GX. The data I can obtain to prove the results of the test that I'm doing. So I'll be using this for the fridge, the consumption of the fridge, etc. So as you're aware, I've got a 42 litre angle and I've got a 75 litre Kickass fridge. So the 42 litre angle I've got is a combo freezer fridge. Now I've got this portal here, so it's going to be very interesting that this summer coming up. So I'm going to be running tests between the two. And then after summer or during summer, after some hot days, after I've tested both the fridges in the back of my car, I'm going to go back and do a similar video to this and show you, look at this, under the same temperatures. Now to make sure that it is exactly the same environment, same temperatures when I do these tests, I'm going to purchase a external thermometer that I can plug into the, because remember the Cerbo GX, I can plug up to 4 thermometers. There's a Victron thermometer, optional accessory you can purchase. So you can have one running as an ambient temperature. You could have one set inside the vehicle. You could have one outside the vehicle. I could have one in the fridge as well. So I'm going to have those to make sure that the temperature is similar inside the vehicle, so there's no discrepancies there. Let's go back to this screen here. Dashboard. While we're filming here, you see the battery's 97.5. It is 9:40 AM. My solar panel's still putting 152 watts. So I just wanted to show you just how well these household panels work. That's only a 200 watt household solar panel that was given to me for free second hand off a roof that someone wanted to update their system. And it's a Trina, T-R-I-N-A, Trina brand. The first time I was introduced in such a system, the high voltage solar household solar panels, is when I was camping out near Sunny Coast one year, many years ago, probably about 6-7 years ago, and this guy rocked up with these solar panels on top of his VW van or some camper van, and he was virtually parked in the shade. And we just got talking, we got into solar panels, and he was talking about his system, and he's showing how his was charged in such a time, and how his system was putting in so many amps. And I looked at his vehicle, but it's in the shade. That's impossible, how do you do it? And then that's when he showed me what he had and what system he was using, and that was the first time I was introduced it. So it wasn't until about a couple of years later before I actually took the plunge and went for it. And it was the best thing I've done. So that's nearly 5 years ago. So since then, I've just been using high voltage solar panels. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, it'll help my channel out enormously. Put a like to the video. Any questions you want to know, ask. Just ask away. Be kind to everyone. Look after yourself. Go out camping. Enjoy yourself. Until next time, Cheers.